Hi there, welcome back to the Let's Play of Black Rose. I'm Shelock and I had to play the game again because it did not save my progress, but that's okay, I'm not pissed at all. I absolutely don't care. Will you? Thank you. Okay, we locked Myrtle in the cellar. I think this isn't exactly the point where we left, but okay, that's the letter about the Black Rose being a symbol of non-mutual love. I never knew that, but I don't care. This isn't exactly where we stopped, is it? But yeah, I tried to leave. Right, I tried to leave. Right, but Myrtle was against me leaving and locked down the system. We have a new key. Okay, we can't go in here. This is we need a code there. Okay, but there were a lot of locked doors. This is the floor of locked doors. Ah, the visitation room. The V on the key label could be for visitation room. It is, but only for one of those. New note.
Ever since my first day working here, I've felt a little strange. Now, after what happened that day, things seem to be getting even stranger.
That day?
I'd even go so far as to say creepy. I've been an embalmer for years now, and I'm very passionate about my job. I've always felt comfortable with what I do, so it's pretty unusual that I feel this way. 2 of my colleagues have died. I had to embalm them both. However, grief can't explain this feeling. Up until just 4 days ago, I hadn't even known about the history of this funeral home. I already knew that it was ridiculously old, but what I didn't know was that it allegedly harbors some kind of powerful aura which traps and torments the spirits of people who have died in a state of grief or fear, and have at some point been associated with the building in one way or another. These associations apparently include those occurring post-mortem, such as embalmings and funerals.
Okay, I do not think it was the best idea to, you know, make a building that traps spirits into a funeral home, but okay, I'm no expert on this. I still think there's a letter in there. Sir, you can't just run around and scaring people. Do we follow the ghost or... Oh wait, there was a door. Behind that right is a 2-wing door. Not cool. Oh, there's news. Mrs. Rains, please tell your son to stop playing under the tables during funeral services. It's disruptive and upsetting to the grieving families. Today he also stole one of the keys to the visitation room and was later attempting to open one of the drawers in the morgue. This type of behavior is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. If you do not start controlling him, I will take it upon myself to personally teach him a lesson. Michael. Okay, Michael is pissed with the Rains boy. I understand that if the Rains boy is disturbing funerals. Okay, that's the door I was talking about. Open now? Yeah. Hello, ghosts? Rotten plant. Someone should water it. Can't open these. Ooh, new note.
To make things even weirder, this place has a serious lockdown system. Yesterday was the first time I've ever seen it used, and many of the workers, including myself, were ordered to wait in the family room until the situation was taken care of. No one I've spoken to about it knows why it was done, or at least they won't say. All I know is that these safety glass windows and electronic gates appear to be designed for keeping things in rather than out.
When it comes to Myrtle, I
I
understand.
was the first responder that day. I was the first and only person to make it to Myrtle's side before she passed away. She managed to give Sullivan a parting "I love you" on that baby monitor, but that was the last communication they ever had. The last thing she ever did was give me that piece of paper. It was a short poem she had written for Sullivan earlier that day. She asked me to give it to him, and I promised her I would. Then she slipped away. I guess Sullivan had picked up by Myrtle's weak rasping in the baby monitor that something was happening to her, because soon after she'd passed, he came running into the hall from the upstairs arrangement room. But he was too late. She was gone. That's when he broke down. I'd never seen him show so much emotion towards Myrtle before. Then, of course, the rest happened.
What rest?
I'll keep my promise, even now. It's all I can do for my dear friends.
Okay, I know we got 3 characters now in the story, if I'm getting this right. Myrtle, the lady we encountered, a guy named Sullivan, and the guy who writes these letters. Myrtle obviously was sick and died, and Sullivan didn't take it well. Maybe the letter was written by him then? For Myrtle? Will you... Thank you. Ooh. Oh, now it's saving. Great. Could have done it before, but who cares? Yeah, maybe it's his letter then, but if they were a couple, why would the love not be non-mutual? I don't know. I'll take a break now. Now that it's saved, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I had to start the game again because I had some trouble with Windows and I had to recover the system, which led to the checkpoint disappearing. Too bad. Hey, close that door. Will you? You won't close the door. Okay, then don't. Oh, a note.
There are a lot of strange things I've seen around this place. For instance, the fireplace that isn't even a real fireplace. It's some kind of ladder shaft.
I saw that too.
There's a tough metal grate fastened over it that appears to be controlled electronically, most likely by the lockdown system. I'm assuming the shaft leads down to the basement, but it must have been sealed off because it's not accessible from anywhere down there. Another thing I've started wondering about is a metal handle that's been sitting on Michael's desk for about a month now. I asked about it once out of curiosity, but he avoided giving me a direct answer. He told me it broke off of something. I had already assumed this, because it's covered in dirt and rusted around the edges where it had clearly been attached to something for a very long time. Perhaps the biggest mystery I've encountered here is the place Myrtle always went for privacy. She was often depressed, so she was always going into the downstairs hall on her way to wherever it was she went to be alone. However, she seemed to vanish. The only place she could have gone from that hallway is down into the basement, but I went down there one day to ask her something and I couldn't find her. I'm wondering if there's a secret room somewhere down there. After all, I did learn from Michael that this building is from the 1600s, long before it was ever a funeral home. Buildings as old as this one sometimes have quite a few secret areas.
Okay, I assume that we have to find the secret room then? But I have to say, Myrtle didn't seem depressed to me. She was smiling all the time. Who was Michael again? Did we... Oh, wait. He wrote that note. He was obviously an employee, maybe the boss of the funeral home, I don't know. Okay, let's recap. I know a lot of people don't like it when I do that. They just want action. But it's our job to find out what was going on here, so... let's recap. We learned of 3 people. The guy who left the last notes we found. Let's call him Bob. I don't want to say the guy who wrote the notes all the time. Myrtle, the chick who tried to kill us, and Sullivan, a friend of Bob and Myrtle. I mean, they were all friends. What we read in Bob's notes makes me think that maybe Myrtle and Sullivan were ex-lovers. That would explain the letter we found near the basement door. I think it was written by Myrtle. I mean, she obviously loved Sullivan. She said that via babyphone before she died. And even though I think Sullivan loved her too, she couldn't know that because Bob wrote that Sullivan never showed so much emotion towards Myrtle than when she died. Which, by the way, is the best way to deal with love. If you love someone, don't tell them until they die. That's the path to happiness. Just a friendly advice for free. Well, Myrtle didn't know that, and therefore she wrote about non-mutual love, but she also wrote that the love is no longer mutual, which only makes sense. It sort of implies that it was mutual before. So I think Myrtle and Sullivan were ex-lovers. Yeah. That's just... Okay, Myrtle laughs at me. She obviously doesn't think so.
They still haven't buried them. Sullivan has been lying in his coffin now for 2 days, and Myrtle for 3.
Ah.
Because Conrad refused to touch Myrtle's coffin after her funeral, it had to be put aside so Sullivan could have his. Conrad still simply doesn't want to have anything to do with the burial of either of them, even if all he's doing is preparing a future grave without actually touching the coffins. I'm starting to wonder if he had some type of unpleasant encounter with Myrtle and Sullivan's coffins, or he heard some absurd rumor about their corpses.
Absurd.
What's sad is that Myrtle and Sullivan don't have relatives who care enough about their burials to actually do something about this. Michael was embarrassed to have to tell all the relatives and friends that the actual burials couldn't be held yet. Even so, none of them objected. Maybe they just didn't see a point in doing so, considering the person they would be doing it for is already gone. I don't know.
Okay, a note we found before also said that he has lost 2 friends in a very short time, so it obviously... He was talking about Myrtle and Sullivan. Obviously, Sullivan didn't handle Myrtle's death very good, so...
As far as feeling nervous around coffins, I do get a strange vibe now in the visitation room. The atmosphere in there is starting to feel different. The air feels heavier, a little bit oppressive even. It seems to be more noticeable today than it was yesterday. I'm not quite sure if I believe in ghosts or not, but it seems to fit what I've heard before about locations having uncomfortable, negative energy due to evil or extremely upset spirits. Maybe it's just normal stuffy air. There aren't any windows in there, and it is the middle of summer.
That could be the reason. Okay, so... I still like... They were all embalmers here, and then Myrtle and Sullivan died. Okay, we've been here before. I don't know where to go exactly now. Did we find another key? I don't think so, right? I'll never go into the basement again. I let Myrtle sleep. Ah, that's just... Here's the ladder he was talking about. But we cannot reach this now. We need a code. We don't have a code. Ah, we know that. We did read that, right? Yeah. Pain and suffering warped their bodies. Whatever that means. I guess we have to look for clues. Let's get involved till the mystery is solved. Oh, another note.
It turns out that Devin got into the morgue by stealing Sullivan's key card from the office. Mrs. Raines had been in there and forgot to lock it when she left. Nobody knows exactly how the kid figured out the passcode, but considering what a flake his mother is, that's probably just something else she inadvertently compromised. They're burying Sullivan with a few of his belongings from the funeral home. I guess because he had worked here for so long and was so loyal to his job. Michael revealed that one of those belongings is Sullivan's key card. Of course, they would need to deactivate it from the system to avoid any breaches and the chance that it was stolen. But then again, Mrs. Raines would be the one who would do that. I discovered earlier today that Devin had stolen the system lock override key as well and hidden it somewhere in the building. This has got to be the most troublesome, ill-behaved kid I have ever encountered.
Yeah, stupid brat. So, Devin is the Raines boy, obviously. Myrtle? Yeah, you're still in your coffin, aren't you? That's good. Stay there. They stitched him back together. Who's him? I mean, it could be Bob or Sullivan. Or Michael. Or Devin. I don't know. Could be anyone but Myrtle. Myrtle is not a him. Oh, that's new. That's new. Grief-stricken man killed by train after blinding himself. 57-year-old Sullivan James, one of 2 funeral directors at the Chenmire Hills Funeral Home, was killed Monday after he tripped and fell onto the tracks of an oncoming train. According to his co-workers at the funeral home, James O'Sullivan, James is the family name. James had slipped into a state of grief-stricken hysteria just minutes earlier after experiencing an emotional breakdown over the death of a childhood friend and co-worker Myrtle Warnworth, who had been suffering from a severe brain tumor, which doctors had deemed inoperable. Miss Warnworth passed away 9 days after the end of her predicted death date. James, devastated, apparently gouged out his own eyes using a scalpel of the funeral home's preparation room. That's drastic. And managed to scramble out a nearby window. Wait, what? He gouged out his eyes and then jumped out of the window. Miles Tretman, an embalmer at Chenmire Hills Funeral Home and short-time co-worker to Mr. James, had begun to chase after the frenzied man through the field behind the building, but was not able to catch him before he reached a nearby segment of railroad tracks and tripped, falling down on top of them. Tretman and a few other eyewitnesses reported that James made no attempt to get up as the train quickly rolled in. Grief-stricken Sullivan James was killed on impact, the fast-moving train hitting him with such force that he was severed into 3 pieces. That's why they stitched him back together. It has been speculated by those who knew the man that his fatal episode was driven by guilt for not treating his longtime friend how he believed he should have. This double tragedy at the Chenmire Hills Funeral Home has sparked a great deal of public interest in the site and has become an attraction for loitering and vandalism among young people. In the 3 days that have passed since the incident, 3 arrests have already been made. 333. They never buried either of them. Both are still here. Both are still here. So Sullivan will become a problem too. Okay, we have Sullivan and Myrtle as children. Cute. Maybe they weren't lovers at all, but why does Myrtle talk about a love that is no longer mutual? I don't get it. If maybe it's not Myrtle's letters or something written on the back. They say that if you take his rose, he wakes up. That's the only way his coffin will open. I heard that he also tears you into 3 pieces if he catches you. Okay, into 3. They are talking about Sullivan. So Myrtle made the rose and she made it for Sullivan, I'm pretty sure. And now he doesn't want anyone to touch the rose. Okay. Myrtle? Sullivan? Something's under the table. Something or someone. They won't find it ever. Wait, that was a kid. That wasn't Sullivan James. Sullivan James was a grown man when he died. Visitation room 2, okay. Wait, was that the Rains boy? Michael said he would teach him a lesson if he would ever disturb a funeral again, but teaching him a lesson by killing him would be a gross overreaction. Okay, we can go to the visitation room now. Not sure I want to. Okay.
All those attending the funeral service for Sullivan James, please gather in the visitation room.
I don't know if I want to attend his funeral. Wait, I didn't know him. I know Myrtle. She tried to kill me. I mean, that's how we bond, right? But Sullivan, We never met. Who's whispering? That's rude. Oh, you're going to the funeral, right? Looks like he had a lot of shady friends. You get it? Because they're all shadows. Not that funny. It's not funny. Is that a new note? Huh? I don't... Oh, that's a coffin. There's obviously a key in Sullivan James' coffin too. I mean, this could also mean the key in Myrtle's coffin, but I don't think we will need it anymore. I guess Myrtle's really gone now and we just have to deal with another ghost. Hello? Shady friends of Sullivan James? I want to leave. Oh! Cool! I don't feel... Well, wait. That's one disturbing picture. These aren't pictures that are appropriate for a funeral home, seriously. Oh, there's the rose. I'm looking for notes before I take this. I do have the feeling we can't look for notes after we... Why would we take the rose? The note said that it would make an angry ghost appear. Why would I want to? So we take the rose that will anger the dangerous ghost. What's that? Wow, scary. I don't want to take the rose. Dare you, double dare you. Okay, we take the rose. I love this plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Sure. And now let's go. Well, that's rude. Shit. Hello?
Sullivan James was blind as a bat. Sullivan James fell down flat.
I want to leave.
Sullivan James is withered and blue. Sullivan James is coming for you.
I have to get to his coffin. Oh. Ah. There was a key. Just run. Wow, this is loud. I don't know where to go. Okay, that's a clever one. He was onto us. He gone? Something just fell where Sullivan was. That's not helpful. He was everywhere. You see, he was a clever one. He was onto us. Notice that we were just running in circles. Ah, here he was. Oh, is that a key card? Great. I'll take that. That was scary. He was much faster than Myrtle. But we need a code. I don't know. There was a lot of threes in this article, but there were only 3 threes, I think. 3 pieces, 3 arrests, 3 days. It just... No, that's wrong. That's not so far. Ooh. Count the lines between the lines. Okay. Okay. There's 2, I think. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2, 9, 2, 9, 4, 2, 9, 4, 7. I'll try it. 2, 9, 4, 7. Ah, great. Too bad, Sullivan James. I'm too smart for you. I'll regret these words, I know. Oh, I know this. I mean, sure, it has that haunted hospital vibe here, the morgue, but I've seen these assets before, I think. Obscuritas. I mean, probably there are a lot of other games containing these too, but... Hello? Mr. James? You here? There's no one. Oh, there's a note. Great.
Everyone here is dead. They've all been killed. Ghosts in this house are not like ghosts in other houses.
No.
If they're looking for something specific, their corpses actually get up. Someone threw the lockdown switch and I can't get out. I finally found the override key, but I'm not sure exactly where the switch is. Although I might have an idea. I remember overhearing a conversation Michael was having a few months ago about something which was located underground. I'm confused as to whether or not this underground location is the main basement where Myrtle's coffin is. I went down there a while ago and looked around, but it appears to be mostly a storage space. Maybe I missed it. The basement is extremely dark, even with a flashlight. Maybe I need to go search again more thoroughly.
I don't want to go back to the basement.
I need to find the switch. My very life depends on it, as do the lives of many future wanderers if this doesn't stop. One of the most unsettling things about this funeral home is that after a while, you start to feel as though it's hanging by a thread and on the verge of collapsing, prevented only by the mysterious force that fills the building. It's such a strange feeling. Maybe I'm not the same skeptic I was before working here. But where is that damn switch?
I don't know.
In the deepest part of the house.
The deepest part of the house? Okay. Is here something? Okay. I think I'll just leave then. Bye. Oh, it's saving. Great. I mean, on the one hand, that's great. Devin? I think that's the Rains boy that's laughing here at us. He hit the things we need, I think. X marks the spot. Is this the chapel? Could be the chairs in the chapel, right? Okay. Okay. I don't like the colors fading.
No.
Ah! Hey there, handsome. Seeing someone? Asking for a friend. I'm just running around in circles again. This is getting old, Sullivan. This is getting old. Sorry if I was yelling. I'll try to turn the music down when I'm rendering. This is horrible music. What's this? It is very important that anyone who saw or spoke with Devin the day he went missing come to me in my office immediately, as we need as much information on his whereabouts and behavior as soon as possible. If it helps, Devin would always become noticeable, excited, and start behaving suspiciously when he had plans of doing something or going somewhere he knew he wasn't supposed to go. Okay. I think it would be this chair, wouldn't it? Yeah. Syslock. In the deepest parts of the house. Is that where Myrtle's coffin is? I don't want to go where Myrtle's coffin is. Or even deeper underground. I don't want to go there. Myrtle, you be a good girl and stay in your coffin, right? I just want to check if there's a secret passage next to your coffin. I don't think so. I don't want to be here. Seriously, I don't. Okay. Wait. The light within your eyes ignites me like a spark. It is them for which I'll search forever in the dark. The lights of that lion's were sparkling. No need to go back in there. I'd rather not anyway. But stop crying. I'm trying to think here. What kind of noise is this? Oh, the note is gone. I don't know. Okay, it wasn't the eyes of the lions. They were sparkling. I don't... This noise is unnerving. Dear God. We were never here. The door is warped pretty badly. I don't think I'd be able to get it open. Is this a cat? Sounds like a cat. Devin's eyes were kind of sparkling. Would you stop this? Ah. Okay, I've been looking around for a long time and I couldn't find anything. But here the noise came from. The crying, it was very annoying. And so I followed the noise and it was here. Part of the floor here feels loose when I press on it. Wait a second. I think this is a sliding door. It feels like it uses some sort of spring mechanism that keeps it closed. I'll have to hold it open. Okay. An oppressive miasma is emanating from down below. From this point forward, there's no turning back. And we should definitely go there. Okay, I think I'll take a break here. Thanks for watching, thanks for your time, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!